Hello, 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 and welcome back again to Joe's Son of Boxing. I hope you're doing well. If you're new to the channel and you could subscribe, that'd be really great. I appreciate all help given. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the dislike button. I don't mind. But any support is always, always, always appreciated. Now, when it was announced that Jake Paul was going to fight Tommy Fury, I sort of rolled my eyes thinking, why is anyone interested in this? I did a video asking why people were interested about a YouTuber fighting a novice. But I went away and a couple of people said to me, well, have you ever seen Jake Paul fight? And I said, no, I'm not interested. He's not a boxer. It's a gimmick. I'm not interested. I'm a boxing fan. And it's not that I'm snobbish about it. It's just that I don't care. Two guys rucking in a car park doesn't interest me. Two debutantes fighting each other, I might have a look at it, but it doesn't really interest me. Then I thought, Tommy Fury's a real boxer. He's had 8 professional fights. He's going in with this guy. He's a novice himself, Tommy Fury, but all right, I'll roll over and I'll give it a go and I'll watch Jake Paul. And to my mild amazement, I was a bit surprised. Because I don't think Jake Paul is entirely without ability. Whether he'll beat Tommy Fury, we'll come to that later. But I only watched one fight. I think Paul has had four fights, and they've all been against debutantes. And I think it was the last one I watched, an 8-rounder with a guy called Tyrone Woodley, who was at the very least one weight division smaller than Jake Paul, and probably about 4 inches shorter. And also he fought from a crouch, so he was making himself a very small target, but it accentuated the difference in height. He had a crouching style. Jake Paul has an upright style. But as far as Paul is concerned, yeah, he's got some technique. He holds his shape well. He jabs well. His right hand is terrible. He throws it like he's throwing a tennis ball. It's going to break his hand if he's not careful doing it that way. He needs to definitely work on the right hand. But the jab's all right, and there's some thought goes into it. He jabbed to the body a couple of times against a smaller man, switched it to the head. Got tagged in the 4th round. That put him on the ropes. But interestingly, he didn't panic. I think he was slightly buzzed, but he wasn't hurt badly. But the point is, that gave Woodley a bit of energy, a bit of hope. So he sort of tried to bore in, tried to cut the ring off. Again, he was a novice as well. That was his debut. But Paul didn't panic. He held himself together. If he was buzzed, he controlled his controlled his emotions. Went back to boxing. There wasn't a lot going on in this fight. Paul didn't throw many punches, was very, very conservative, very reluctant to throw too much in case something came back at him. Crowd booed a little bit. Woodley did his best against a much bigger man. But I think, it was a split decision in the end. Paul got it on a split. I don't know. I mean, again, two low-level guys, but I've got to be honest, I was a little bit surprised by Jake Paul. He doesn't look to me like he's just a gimmick. He looks to me like he's someone who has put some work in. His trainer is BJ Flores, former cruiserweight contender, and guy who fought Tony Bellew. Didn't last long, but he fought him. And yeah, it looks like Paul's been putting a bit of work in. And I don't know, I didn't notice when this Tyrone Woodley fight took place. It was some months ago. But if he's carried on working hard in the gym and doing his thing and learning, could he beat Tommy Fury? Let's move on to that question. Well, I was very underwhelmed with Fury's last fight. I thought he looked awful. It was a 4-round decision over some nondescript opponent who I couldn't even remember. I think he'd only had one fight, and that was a loss. But Fury hasn't impressed me at all. He seems like a novice. And to be a fighter, you've got to put the work in. Even if you're getting up to area level, if you want to win an area title, you've got to put the work in. You can't just sort of cut corners or regard it as a second job or anything like that, unless you're a journeyman, of course, and then you're fighting so often that you don't really need to train because you're fighting. Can Jake Paul beat Tommy Fury? Yeah, I think so. I still make Tommy the favourite. Fury apparently is going to have his big brother, someone called Tyson. Don't know if you've heard of him. He's going to be in his corner. I also watched an interview with John Fury, and he mentioned Tommy, and he said the only person that can beat Tommy is Tommy, but he's got to live the fighter's lifestyle. He was kind of, if you read between the lines, he was kind of alluding to maybe Tommy isn't as dedicated always as he should be. He's a young man, you know. He's got his girlfriend. He's got a big internet following, or Instagram following, whatever the hell it is. He's been on Love Island and all that. And of course, the question is now that I'll tell you another thing is Jake Paul has experience of the big stage. Tommy doesn't, and it's going to be interesting to see how Tommy handles the bigger stage, the bright lights, because his last fight, this 4-round fight last time against that novice was not impressive at all. So what do you think? Do you think there's anything to this fight? Is it a real fight? For the first time, I'm starting to think that, yeah, this could be a real fight. And I would make Paul the underdog, but I would certainly say he's got a chance of winning. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Again, if you could just subscribe to the channel, I would love it. Really, really appreciate it. Hit the like button or the dislike button. In life, we have choices. It's what makes life great. So, have a nice day, as they say on the other side of the pond. Thanks for your time, and